So we're live.
We're live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast, and it's hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am the other host, Paul. And I am a little bit scared tonight. I'm not going to lie.
I'm terrified.
I didn't think we would actually be getting like Dexter Morgan with us tonight. But yeah, Peach is actually dressed up like Dexter in full outfit, and she has a blade. So we are all fucked. So yes, so we are joined by the lovely Peach. It's been a minute. She's expelled some humans outside of her, and she's, like I say, made a quick recovery and joined us again. So thank you for joining us there, Peach.
What a way to say it, expelled.
Well, there's other ways I could have said it that would have been much worse.
I think you want to be grateful for the way he did say it, because it could have been a lot worse.
I accept that.
Yes. And the people in the chat will be very happy because we are joined by the most beautiful human that has ever lived. The giant man, the sexiest man in nerdism. The one that makes all the women quiver at the knees and even makes Lee's 14-inch dongs shrivel up in terrification at the size of the atom. Yes.
I felt like we had to kind of woo.
So you got to build them up. You got to build them up, then knock them down. That's how we work at that. But yes,
you can't do that with Adam. He's a tree. So.
He's keep on trying to organise that boxing fight with us, so that'll be an interesting one. I'll just need a few yellow pages to reach. So that's the problem. I'm only 5'9".
5'9". God.
Yes.
Me too.
I'm not as short as Chris though, so it's fine. The little little minion.
I think Chris is taller than me.
You're not allowed to say that.
I think he should be.
Bless him. The little
when he's wearing heels.
Yes, he's always wearing Cuban heels. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Talking about Cuban, but yes.
Yes, that was good timing.
That was a good timing. I like it.
Yes. So, Sammy, do your magic.
Yes. Which one? Are we asking questions or are we going straight in for disclaimer?
We can do both. Do which one you want to go first. You're the boss. You're in charge.
That is very true.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask the question of the week. How are you guys doing and what have you been watching?
The question is...
It's getting less cringy as the time goes on.
The question is what I haven't been watching. That's the thing.
Do you want to go last or do you want to go first? Do you want to build this up or?
I'll go last. Don't worry.
You'll go last. Yeah, you can build this up. Adam, what have you been watching? Anything interesting this week?
Not really, but I watched the Royal Rumble last night.
Oh, interesting. Yes.
Such a mixed bag of opinions online.
Yeah, I did enjoy it, but there was certain parts where I'm like, yeah, they shouldn't have done that, or it was like very botchy in places. Like there was a lot of things in both Royal Rumbles actually where they tried some like really cool moves, and it was like maybe got a bit nervous or whatever because like it might be the first Rumble or haven't been doing it for a while, but yeah, I mean overall loved it, but yeah, it was a bit rusty around the edges really.
It's an interesting because it was the first event. Yeah, it was the first event after the news of the shitstorm that has come out from WWE, which
absolute shitstorm.
Which we'll not go into too much detail because it's quite disgusting and graphic.
Yeah, grim.
Yeah,
it's grim. But I did see people because Triple H was trending this morning, and I was like interested. Let's have a see. And people are booting off because he did a press conference and he had the opportunity to address the situation, and instead of he just went, "Listen, I just want to keep it positive and not negative." And I was like, "That's totally fine." Like at the end of the day, that regardless of like what's happened, that's still his father-in-law. He still has to have some form of decorum when it comes to that what's going on. I think there's enough people talking about it. He doesn't need to be brought into the narrative. Like let him get on with his job. That's just my opinion. You can disagree if you want to.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But
so
I did hear very positive stuff about the Women Rumble.
That was the one thing. Too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Jade Cargill being one of them.
Yes. Being an absolute beast. She looks amazing. Like
she does.
Two females. I don't know. Maybe with the whole WWE going to Netflix, I might start watching again. But at the moment, I don't know who these people are. But I saw this one shot of two women having another two women over their head and simultaneously dropped them on the
Aye.
floor while glaring at each other, and I was
Yeah.
like, I got fucking chills, man. Fuck yes.
Yeah, like a gorilla press slam.
Yeah, and then but
Aye.
it was like perfect timing.
Yeah,
The
it
pair
was,
of them had them up at the same time. They're both staring each other down, and then they both dropped them at the same time. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that is just poetry. That is beautiful.
Yeah, it was good, that.
Who was it who won?
Spoilers? No, not allowed spoilers.
Oh, we're not allowed to spoil.
Not Sunday. Do it tomorrow. That's fine. We'll be nice.
No, I didn't realize it was a thing. I don't know.
Well, wrestling
I don't
is
follow wrestling.
people
I
tick
nearly
off.
shouted out the winner there.
Yeah,
I was like,
see, I'll see you nerds that haven't watched it. I'm sticking up for you, so that's fine. Sarah, what have you been watching?
First of all, I'd just like to say sorry if any babies make a appearance.
I think
you're gonna give birth to more
right now.
But I've been taking full advantage of the 7-day free trial of Paramount Plus this week.
All right.
And I had a rewatch of Dexter New Blood, and I've watched Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Lower Decks in full.
Very interesting.
So,
and how are you finding Lower Decks?
I enjoyed Lower Decks. I saw a couple of episodes when it first came out because my partner was watching it, but obviously at the time I hadn't watched the rest of Trek, so I didn't get a lot of the jokes. But now I'm getting the jokes, so it was a lot better to rewatch it now.
Cool. I thoroughly enjoyed Strange New Worlds as well. It is one of the
Strange New Worlds is one of my favourites now.
It's one of the sexiest Treks out there as well. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of swooning and like you can't help but thinking, wow, I would be in trouble if I was on the Enterprise in that day. But yeah,
at least you're admitting it.
Yeah, I'll always hold my hands up.
Don't want another Vince McMahon.
No,
don't want another Vince McMahon situation.
The shit I do is in public and everyone will see it, so that's fine. But yes, Sammy, what have you been watching?
Not a great deal. I've been trying because I've been doing a lot of research for Rick Baker. I have been kind of immersed in his world for a bit. I did finish My Lover, My Killer.
Right.
All episodes have now been watched. Season 3 was a bit more to it than season 1 and 2 is very much, unfortunately, like I said last week, unfortunately, very same stories. But the third one kind of has a bit more nitty gritty to it. There's
another one as well, Sam, which is when Married Turns to Murder.
Did you mention that on the true crime one? Because I was trying to go, but I remember you recommending one to us, and I was trying to go back to find it, and I couldn't remember. I didn't have the patience to sit all the way through it and find out.
I might have mentioned that I watched them because I think I was saying that I wasn't watching like the stuff about like Summer of Sam and things like that. Because I like to watch the more localized ones, not necessarily serial killers, but there was that one as well.
Right. Well, I'll add that to me list because we've just finished My Lover, My Killer.
You have to say it like that, don't you?
You have to. Like that. You have to, Adam. It doesn't sound right if you don't. My Lover, My Killer. But I watched the first 2 parts of American Nightmare.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. I'm gonna watch it again because when I said to Anth, I was like, it's the real life Gone Girl, and he was like, whoa, I wanted to fucking watch that, and I says, well, I didn't fucking tell you this last night.
Have you just been having domestics with who are Anth this week? Because you seem to be having arguments with them all the time, bless him.
Me and Anth, we don't argue.
He just gets beaten.
We just bicker.
Cool bloke. We do not endorse domestic abuse. Just saying, just put that out there.
And also,
just rewind. Cut that.
No, I did tell him though when we were watching My Lover, My Killer with us. I kept going, please don't murder me. And he was like, well, I'm going to try not to. And I says, I'll do the same.
I'll try not to.
Yes. I'll try not to.
But if I did, I would know how to get away with it. But it's fine.
Absolutely. Yes. I told you my dream the other night. So, and the first 2 parts of American Nightmare, I'm going to go back and rewatch it because I feel like I really wasn't paying too close attention to it, and he wants to now watch it. But it is like the real life Gone Girl.
Oh, very cool.
That's what I'm getting so far.
Cool.
So yeah, interesting. But that's about it.
Cool. Well,
go on then.
Because I knew we were doing Dexter, and again, this is going to be a throwback to when we done an episode on a series where I thought I knew a lot about, and when it come to talk about it, I really struggled. Was when we done the X-Files episode. So
oh yeah,
I mistakenly didn't watch many X-Files there because I watched it all when it first came out. It's like, oh yeah, it's been 15, 20 years since I've watched this, and it's like, oh, I can't remember anything anymore. But Dexter, so I've watched like within the last week, I've watched the full season 1 and 2, halfway through season 3, and I've watched the full season of season 4 and the episode 1 of season 5.
In a week.
In a week, yes. So I've not slept much this week. So yes, it's all been Dexter. But, and I do this with this, but, and again, I'll try not to do any spoilers for this because if anyone's watching it or wants to watch it, they have to. The final of the best trash TV that is out there that everyone must watch because it is just fucking amazing. The season 2 of The Traitors UK.
Hannah's been watching that.
I watched me and Nick watched it on Friday night, the season finale. And if anyone hasn't watched The Traitors, it's basically like Cluedo and Among Us live action where people are picked to be traitors and they've got to fool the faithful into saying, "Oh yeah, I'm not a traitor, but I'll murder you tonight." And if you get to the end and you convince them that you're faithful, you get the money. And it was down to 2 people, and it was like so stressful that I actually screamed at the telly and put me top over my head because I was like, no, this is just it was getting so fucked up. But yeah, it was one of the more, because the things with reality TV, it's never reality, it's always edited and stuff like that, but I think this one is the truest form of how humans actually interact, and how conniving and sly people are. That you find out, and it's hilarious.
I would do so good on this, I'm not gonna lie. We only watched the first series a few weeks ago, so maybe in a year's time I'll watch the second one. But my mum is furious with us that I didn't watch it when it was happening because she had no one to talk to about it. I was like, I apologise, but I'll watch it.
I'll talk to your mum about it. So yes, Sammy's mum, give me a call. We will have a chat.
Bingo.
There you go, guys. Knock that one off your list.
There'll be something knocked off, I'll tell you that. But yeah,
Paul, you got there before, I was going to say that.
Oh, got there before you. But yes, so there, that's what I've been watching. So yeah, nothing really new to watch other than Moonshiners, which again I'll wait till I'm getting a few episodes in before you get that
I
round.
feel we need to do a proper episode on Moonshiners, man. I think we all need to invest a little bit of time, get some episodes behind us, and then do a proper Moonshiners talk.
I can't put you through it. There's 13 seasons of it.
Or maybe you can pick the best ones, and we can just.
But none of them are the best ones. That's the thing. They're all awful.
Okay, Moonshiners is out, guys. Sorry, I tried.
Yes, but yes.
I'll get the disclaimer out of the way with, and we can crack on with this week's episode.
Yes, let's go.
Everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us in the Discord page, the Facebook group, or the comment section where we can have an open discussion. What we won't have, though, is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. We can all agree to disagree in fandom, so let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Very well said there.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent delivery.
Yes. That was on the BBC, you know.
Did you know? Did you know?
Oh, did you know?
Did you know? I've not told you this before. That was said on the BBC in its entirety, just so you know.
And just to say as well, in a few weeks, Emma from the BBC is actually coming on this podcast. We are fucked.
We are so fucked.
Yes, our relationship ends. Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh no, I hope not. We have had a run before, so we still managed to get back on again and do. If no one's seen it, it is available to listen to and to see our lovely faces in my living room talking about how to start a podcast.
Basically, you blackmail one of your friends into doing it, but that's yes.
That was pretty much the crux of it, wasn't it?
Yeah. we're talking about blackmail and deceit. So has anyone brought the dark passengers tonight? Have they?
Mine's always there.
Always, it never goes.
He's always there.
My attire answers that question.
She's actually wearing the gloves, guys, as well. That's what's scaring us. Like, shit, Sarah's gonna kill someone.
Really
like we
committed to this.
Has anyone seen Sarah's partner in a while? That's all I'm asking.
It doesn't help when she does that like cheeky little laugh as well. It's like almost innocent but almost sinister at the same time.
Yeah.
So yes, and as Goodwill has pointed out in the chat, he can hear music. So I've put a little bit of a music over us as we're going to start talking about Dexter. So, so we've got the little bit of a fun thing there for people, like say, just to listen to as we go on there. So. This show came out many, many moons ago, more older than I like to care to remember. So 2006.
Yep.
2006.
So almost 20 years old.
No,
Wow.
it's 18 years old because I started singing Anthem 2007. Oh my gosh, that's a long time. Can I, before we get started, give you the tagline for Dexter?
Yes.
Because as we all know, I love a tagline. And I do like this one. So, America's favorite serial killer. He's got away with murder. Blood never lies. And they're good. They're good. They're good. I like that one. That's a strong. It's a strong tagline.
Aye.
But he does lie, though. He does lie.
No blood, but
blood doesn't lie.
Blood doesn't lie.
Blood doesn't lie.
Blood doesn't lie.
But
That's why he
fucking
cleans it all
does.
up.
Yes. So, quick questions I'm going to ask as well. I'm going to ask some very quick ones before we start talking about. Is Dexter a hero or is he a villain? So, Adam, what do you think?
That's a good one. That naturally.
I'd say more of an anti-hero. Where he's still doing good things, but it's frowned upon by the general public. If you were to be caught doing it.
I think it's like humanity. It's kind of frowned upon. The killing side of things.
But the thing is though, that's what I mean. But like it's he's doing good because they're bad people.
Yeah.
Question mark.
I think there's a lot of question marks around Dexter, isn't there?
And that's, and that's one thing I do love about Dexter as well, is the question mark. Because I think in the description I put as well, he is the anti-hero. And
he definitely is.
Yeah. But, so, sorry, I jumped in there, Adam. So what were you about to say? Lovely there.
It's just like, because it does make you question your own morality while you're watching it. Because you're like, he did that, and you're like, that, and you go, I would have done the same thing. And it's like, oh, does that make me a bad person? But is Dexter a bad person? So I think it's unanswered. I think that's the point. It's makes you question every move he does.
No, definitely.
To me, it's like the two wrongs make a right. Like, can we look at this? Can we look at this very logically? Does it just because he does bad things, do you have to do bad things to him? It's still very entertaining, though.
Yes.
What about you?
You do like to see the person get the comeuppance in the end.
What about you, Sarah? How would you answer that question?
I'm very much with the anti-hero theme here. It's kind of like it's all like ethical dilemma of vigilantism and stuff like that, isn't it?
Such a good word. Ethical, I like that.
Where is the blurred line between right and wrong, really?
But that's just America all in one type thing, isn't it?
I mean,
in general.
Yeah.
But the way I always look at it as well, because you can have so many different arguments about this as well, because technically Dexter was clever enough to basically get all the people he punished to put behind jail. So all of them could have been punished. So he could have took them off the streets a different way, but he had to get his urge out the way. And that's like where the line's always blurred when it comes to Dexter. But like a lot of people, and they had this conversation during the show as well, where what was it, the beer butcher beer, or I can't remember his name.
The Beer Harbour Butcher.
Beer Harbour Butcher, that was the one. Where the locals, when they found out about him, were celebrating him. There were basically sending messages saying, "Stop trying to catch him. He's doing the right thing." Because technically, if Dexter hadn't killed all them people, they would have been free to kill more. So there would have been more deaths around. Like, let's just say, don't watch Lost Boys, and like I say, that's not the murder capital of the world. Miami seems to be the capital of the world, especially with serial killers, by the sounds of it.
I wonder how many people have tried the whole Gulf Stream way of disposing bodies. I generally would like to know numbers on how many have actually tried to do that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Fucking idiots. Can I throw an interesting fact out here, which actually kind of meshes with a bit of monsters, actually. Body count.
Right.
Body count.
How many did you get?
Right, so this is another me and Dan situation, because on the Michael Myers one, she got one number and I got another, and we went with my number because it made more sense.
Obviously.
So I
went with Dan. I'm scared more of Dan, to be fair.
I got 117.
You might have the same fact from the same site that I have.
We may be using IMDb.
Yeah.
Yeah, so IMDb says Dexter's killed 117 people. He had 45 blood slides in his first box before it was destroyed, and now he has about 43 slides in his new box. There's also 20 or so victims from who he didn't collect blood from.
Right.
So he still doesn't beat in a monster's capacity. He still doesn't beat the top tier Michael at the moment, but 117 people over the span of his murderous career,
which is more impressive because he seems to live a normal life, unlike Michael Myers.
Very much so.
Absolutely right.
And he doesn't go on a spree. He
has to do his normal job.
And be a family man.
Aye, and a family man, and sometimes kills within the job hours.
Yes.
That's quite impressive. No, that is quite impressive when you do that kind of ratio.
So maybe you have to do a Dexter Morgan Monsters episode.
We did discuss it, and I was like, I could not do a full episode on that, as you'll find out tonight why.
So, just to confirm as well, I know when I first watched Dexter, it wasn't when it was broadcast. I got the DVDs because I think I didn't start watching them until I met my lovely wife. So Sarah's got all the props out today. So when did you guys come up with find Dexter or find say the life of a serial killer?
Well, I think it's always been living inside of us, but if I just jump in just because it's at the top of my head, 2007, the year I met my husband. I did watch mine on DVD, but it wasn't the
proper. You got it from seeing car boot sales, so it's fine.
Right. We used to have this person who come to work, and every week, every Monday, he would have a list of all of these movies and specials, and by Friday I would have them. They were £1. I got the whole entire Dexter from 1 to wherever it was up to, probably just 1 and 2 maybe, or maybe just 1. And I got the for £1. So me and Anth watched them that way. But I didn't get into it first time round.
No.
I probably didn't get into it until a couple of years later. I think I watched the first series and went, okay. Like, I wasn't a telly person at the time. I think the only thing I'd ever watched before that was Prison Break.
All right.
So I wasn't really like a telly person. I wasn't really that interested. I think Dexter was like my first big break into, this is what telly is now.
Yeah.
It's not soaps and shit like that. So yeah, I think Dexter was like kind of, but it took a couple of years. Wasn't straight away.
What about you, Adam?
Anyone else?
Well, me, yet again, something else that Jake got me into.
Jake can be blamed for so many things.
Jake's for everything, man.
Right, because the reason it's always Jake is because I spent so much time just playing my guitar for like 10 hours a day at that point in my life that like I needed someone to like introduce me to things.
All right.
So like Jake was like, I've started watching this, and like I think he had the first season on DVD, and watched a bit of it around his, and I was like, oh, I'm going to need to get that. So I think it was about 2007.
Right. Okay. So not
Yeah,
too
when
long
the
after it first came out, type thing.
Yeah, and then I was hooked on the first season, and every season I got the DVD when it came out.
Very cool.
Like,
Yes.
I've still got them all, I believe.
Oh, all right. So you have to try and get them out from somewhere.
Yeah.
Cool. What about you, Sarah?
I probably got into it about 2008, I would say. So I missed like the first 2 or 3 seasons live on on TV as they were being shown. But I quickly caught up with them once I realised that I was enjoying the show. And then after that, similar to Sammy, I had a friend who used to download things from when they were aired in America.
We've all got them friends.
Yeah.
Everyone's
So
had that friend.
I used to get like a couple of episodes ahead of the of the UK showing.
Oh, you little sneak.
Yeah.
It's also been brought to my attention that my podcasting other partner is in the chat. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Thanks
for joining us.
Time to hear Paul that you were scared about.
No, I said I was more scared of Dan than Sam. Because Sam's a little not scary. That's fine. But
Sam's not scary.
Dan's not scary at all. But she has nice hair and claws as well, as you'll see in the new episode of Monsters tomorrow.
Yeah.
I remember because I think at the time the American TV shows that were coming out were quite. I'm trying to think of the right risky and like off the cuff. Like Dexter came out, The Sopranos came out around the same time, and like Breaking Bad. So it was kind of like America was like going hard for the anti-hero, and it wasn't just doing the normal cop show or giving you like the normal like, oh, this is a good guy and this bad guy. It was putting them, as I think as we said earlier, the moral dilemma back on the viewer to say, oh, how would you feel in this situation, or how would you react, and what would you do in this pride pressure situation? So I think that for the time, the shows that were coming out were pushing boundaries that they haven't done for a long time, because now you used to look forward to the American releases. You used to check out, see when like what shows are going to be coming out. You used to check out all the pilots as well. It's like if it's something that was going to come out, you used to think, "Oh, am I going to get invested in this for like how many seasons?" Or if you of Supernatural for life, apparently, because apparently they're going to
lifetime commitment
because the basically remake, they're going to reboot it again. But yeah, still. Anyway, it's off subject, but yeah. So when I got into Dexter, like through the DVDs, it was one of them shows where binging first become a thing for me, because we didn't have Netflix at the time. We didn't have, I think Love Film was still a thing, Blockbuster,
Oh God,
where you used to get the DVD. So I think I bought my set on eBay, and stupid enough, it was a American region, so I had to buy a multi-region DVD player or a DVD player from Asda to hack. You could get the codes off the internet at the time as well. Not saying we're completely bootlegging everything now, so yeah. But I still remember watching.
We are Northerners. It's okay.
But going through like the seasons, the first season of Dexter, like this, because as we'll talk through the podcast, there's certain seasons of Dexter goes up, goes down. It's like a roller coaster ride. It never keeps you in the same place. Like a lot of shows, it's just like going up and up and up. Unfortunately, we don't get that with Dexter. But when it's good, it is probably up there with like can't be touched by many TV shows out there. And the first season, for a debut season, it's entertaining as fuck and so cleverly done and so character driven. I think that was the word I was looking for. Like the characters in it was just absolutely interesting, and all of them had the little side stories. And it's coming from something that Dan said in the chat before. She said she was introduced to it by the books. Now, Sarah, you've read the books.
There's books?
Yes, the Dexter books.
Yeah.
There's another.
I didn't know that.
I can't remember how many there are now, but there's about 5 or 6 or something. The show's premise is based on basically the first book in the series, Darkly Dreaming Dexter. And it's that inspired the show to go the way it did.
Oh, mine just blown. I generally didn't know that.
Jeff Lindsay.
Yes.
If you want to look them up.
And I know Nick's tried to read them, and she described them as overly descriptive. So, like, literally, everything's like as Dexter would in Dexter's world. Everything's told with a fine tooth comb, like in descriptive. So, if if you do get overwhelmed quite easily, the books can be a little bit difficult to read. Apparently, that's what I've been told. But apparently, you can get them in audiobook as well if you look around. So I know you like your audiobooks, Sam. So that might be something for you to
yeah,
look
it could be one to jump into. I genuinely didn't know it was a book. I learn a lot on here sometimes. I always learn on here what was a book before a movie. It's like the whole Jaws thing all over again.
But coming back to the first season, like the characters that drew you in, like Dexter was an interesting one because you didn't really know or see where it was going. But his sister Deborah, that was the gold.
I love Deb.
Deborah fucking Morgan. I couldn't get over because I actually caught a bit of 6 Feet Under, and you know, like Michael C. Hall.
Yeah, he seems to have a thing about shows with dead bodies. Surrounded with dead bodies.
He very much does, and I was like, I can't see this transformation from because he was a very sweet character in 6 Feet Under to being Dexter, and I was like, oh, it kind of works for him. But Deborah fucking Morgan was just top tier in the first series.
I think like Deb as a female character just stands out like amongst like loads of TV shows just because you don't really get many women portrayed like her as just I couldn't give a toss, swearing me head off, no filter. Yes, you get women swearing in other shows and that, but I don't think any of them are portrayed quite like Deb.
I totally agree with you.
I think the women in Dexter as well, like not just like Deborah's done like was handled perfectly until a certain point.
Until she wasn't.
Until she wasn't. But I think all the women in this are given such a strong platform, I think, as well. I think that's like the thing, because even LaGuardia has done has done in a certain way and is shown as a powerful, strong woman and very determined and going the way she wants. And Rita, what a innocent, beautiful the performance and the growth you get from Rita from start to her end, not the show's end, unfortunately, but her end.
Demise.
Her demise. Spoiler.
I don't even know. I generally don't even know if I'm okay with this when we get to round to season 4, but we'll soon find out.
Did you know that the actress who played Rita, I've forgotten her name, it's gone off the top of my head, but she actually auditioned for Deb's part.
All right, interesting.
Initially.
Do you know what?
But I couldn't see her, knowing how Rita is, I couldn't see her portraying Deb.
She was in Buffy, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was the angel. She was Darla.
Darla, that's right, yeah. No, I couldn't see her as Deborah. It's amazing. I can't say Deb Morgan without saying Deborah fucking Morgan. Like, I can't physically do it.
When people talk about Deb, my immediate reaction is, shit, a Britain fuck me with it. That's my favourite swear by her.
She definitely ramps up the the bleep meter and stuff like that as well. Where I
generally thought for a moment Sarah was like not swearing earlier and because of the children, and then she comes out with that.
Sorry, that one has to be said in, like fully. That one has to be said in its full form, doesn't it? So
well, the one that would copy me has gone to bed, and the other two aren't old enough to copy me now.
Yes,
right. Yeah, that's true. You're in a safe space.
As long as they're not born in a bath of blood, it's fine. It's
Oh my god!
To be fair though, no, let's be honest. Like the scenes, born in blood, it's part of Dexter. I'm on point. I'm allowed to say it.
He's on point.
I'm not getting criticised for this one yet.
Dexter, so,
And she's got a knife, for God's sake. I don't have a blade. I've got a lightsaber. She's got a knife.
For clarity, this is actually a training knife. It's not a real knife.
It's all
full of damage.
I nearly brought my cleaver on and thought it might be against TOS.
It's all floppy and flaccid like Chris, but it's fine.
Against the disclaimer.
If you disagree with Sarah, she'll come at you with a cleaver, but that's fine.
Hey, I said the disclaimer. We're all covered. It's all good.
Yeah,
get your cleaver.
But yes, but yeah, the first season, but this is the introduction to, because let's be honest, the stories and everything are convoluted and to the extreme. Like the ice truck killer, was such an interesting character, and I didn't mind that they brought Dexter's brother. He turned out to be Dexter's brother again. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. Why are you watching a Dexter's episode if you've not seen it?
I think from now on we're
especially
good.
from
we're good to go.
18
It's
17 years
18
ago now.
It's
well, to be fair though, when we were on an earlier podcast, I got told off many, many moons ago by a certain person who's no longer part of it that I was giving spoilers for Dexter. Yes.
Okay.
But yes, that was an interesting.
Well.
Yes. So fuck him. But yeah. But yes.
I was going to say something about season 1, the ice truck killer.
Yes.
I thought it was genius that it was his brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was because in the first series, you're kind of getting to piece together who Dexter is. Quite literally. And I thought it was absolute genius that his brother was the one, because it's like that makes it more that more personal.
Yeah.
So not having some random stranger being like his first like antagonist, being his own fucking flesh and blood. So yeah, I thought that was a genius move.
No, definitely. And the only thing, and again, this is the convoluted part, is in the whole Miami PD, Dexter being the blood spatter expert is head and shoulders better detective than every fucker that is there.
And he's only a blood spatter analyst as well.
Yeah. That's the thing that blows my mind as well, because like I know Brian kind of plays with Dexter in the first season by giving him little clues, by leaving like the dismembered Barbie doll in his fridge, with the painted hand, with the fingernails and everything. Like all them like aspects for it was so perfectly done, and everyone kind of played the part so well and so like interestingly as well, because it wasn't just everyone playing nice, because then you get like the people who don't like Dexter, like Dorks, and Dorks was fucking amazing.
I wanted to do it, man.
Jake said I had to get in first and do it, so I've done myself.
I said to Paul, I was like, find a way to get surprise motherfucker in there.
Wow, motherfucker.
We'll just all have to do impressions of it later. Say, Sarah, do your surprise motherfucker.
Surprise motherfucker.
He was fucking going.
Well, I'll do it now. So. Surprise, motherfucker!
Oh, he was such a fucking brilliant character, though. For him to be his like nemesis, like I'm gonna suss this one out, and it was just and I love the no shit attitude of that man. Loved it.
And as the seasons go on, I love the little bits, because certain characters do shine. Like certain people get loads of backstory, loads of like terms to grow. Dorks kind of stays one note a little bit, but his little growths are like more personal. Like when you find out about his backstory when he was in the army, and like what he's seen like in like the Haitian War, or like in Haiti, where he saw someone when he was overseas, and he was an old general. I think it was near the end of season was it season 1 or 2, where he sees him. And then Angel's got to lie for him as well, because he shoots the person because he basically seen him in another country torturing, raping, killing people, and he wasn't going to let him get away with that type thing, because that's Dorks to a T. It's like everything is black and white, and he's just doesn't trust anyone, and his suspicion of Dexter is just beautiful. Like I absolutely love it.
And also very spot on.
Yes.
He fucking got it straight away. But we all hate him for it, because we're like, no, we want to see Dexter doing more. Fuck off, Dorks.
I also liked how Dorks sorry, I've got a crying child in the background.
It's fine.
It's okay.
I also liked how Dorks actually softened towards Deb a bit as well.
Yes.
Like, he was so harsh with her when she first got promoted, and but then when he actually took on board her suggestions and thought, oh, that might work, it started to soften towards her and actually show her some respect.
Yeah. And like Dexter's always playing the chess game. That's the thing. He's ultimately clever, and he's like moving people around and wants people everything where they are or what they're doing. That's why he's like trying to position Deborah like from just being a beat cop or working in Vice when we first see her where she's working with the prostitutes. Whores it if you're in America. Basically, and then she's moving up to try and get into homicide, and how he helps her and says, look, this is kind of like leading her like to that path. but then not wanting them to catch the main ones as well, because he sees them as his prizes. And as you get with more serial killers as well, they always like to keep the prizes. Dexter's was so good. I fucking loved the blood, the drop of blood, and that idea. That's how he keeps his, like, say, little prizes and little tokens from it as well. Just that imagery as well. It's just perfect.
Yeah,
it's so different as well from like your classic token of what people would keep, because that's the downfall with some serial killers, is that they'll
like
keep
jewelry
things.
and stuff.
There's
They'll
nothing
keep
missing, obviously, from the victim.
Exactly. They'll keep personal items, but this is like, you can't, not really gonna miss it now, are they?
I also like the noise as well.
No.
The noise of him running his finger across the top of the slides.
Yes.
Or like the glass, like when he puts them together, it's like that
And
little
it goes
crunch. Yeah.
He's very particular as well, isn't he? Like, he's very everything. I think like it's almost like a play for him. That he kind of like reenacts every time, and he's trying to like do what he didn't do that night, he'll do better than next night, but it'll all be the same act. Yeah.
No, definitely.
I'm not talking.
Just not the
I'm not
dress
talking
rehearsal.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know, because it's a hard question I'm going to ask now, just because the cast is so varied, and we've got so many different characters as well. Who is your favorite character other than Dexter in the show?
Well, in the whole thing, all the way through.
All the way through,
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh, I wouldn't even say Dexter is my favorite character through this, because he's sometimes quite infuriating. I would say kind of side characters were more my thing. I said to Paul before we came on, for all I watched 1, 2, 3, 4. I watched the one after 4, and I don't know if that is Colin Hanks. Sarah, you'll be able to tell us that's the Colin Hanks one. And then I dropped.
No, it's that season 6 was
Colin Hanks.
I think it was 6.
Yeah. So wherever Colin Hanks ended is where I ended too. And I haven't watched anything afterwards. So I'm trying to see if you guys can, like, 1, re-jog my memory, 2, get me a bit more interested in it. And when I was reading earlier, there was characters who I just totally forgot about, who I genuinely loved. And one of them was Quinn.
Right.
Absolutely. 1, he is a very fucking handsome man, and 2, I genuinely really liked his character. But him and what's he called? You mentioned his name earlier, Angel.
Yeah, Batista.
That's it. I loved Batista.
Yeah, he is one of my favorites. Like, Quinn's probably the one I hate the most out of all of them, which is...
I wasn't a big fan of Quinn at the start. Like,
I fucking loved him. He was very nice on the eyes.
But depends which version you saw, because like at the start he was very, like, looked like very well, and then by the end I don't know if he had any type of, like, problem, allegedly, drug problem, allegedly. He lost a lot of weight and looked very, very ill for a long time. But that I don't know. That might just be me starting rumors there. Hollywood, don't fuck us over for that one.
I think you're all right. You're a fair distance away from them.
But probably the three ones that stand out. Batista is the mainstay. Like I say, his arc and loyalty towards Dexter is above and beyond. I've got a soft spot for trying to pronounce it right, Masuga, just for how wrong and hilarious it's, like, that little bits of, like, comedy or things you weren't expecting them to say kind of shifted from the darkness that we were talking about, because, like I said, this was pretty bleak and horrifying at times. And he would walk on saying, nice tits on a dead body. And it's just... it broke up.
So it was just you. It was just you in that job, basically.
Possibly, yes. And the other one, like I said, I think she had the best, because I know she was only until season 4, the best arc from anything. Like, her, from the first episode, you've seen her as this meek, quiet, downtrodden woman in Rita, to the strong, independent badass that we got at the end of season 3, where she, like, was blossomed and just this amazing woman that she basically always was, and, like, Dexter in his wrong ways had kind of helped bring out as well. So her performance was, like, I think it was Julie Benz. I think I've just looked up. Her performance was in Dexter is standout amazing. To be fair,
it's one of the I'm gonna say it. It's one of the TV deaths I still have not gotten over.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Never.
Same.
And we'll get into it a bit, but but her performance because she was a domestic violence victim, wasn't she?
Yes.
And to watch her go from quiet or like that quiet little mouse to an absolute fucking lion was absolutely incredible to watch. She really did that. I always compare her and Carol from The Walking Dead. Carol season 1 Walking Dead to Carol season whatever the fuck they got up to. Like that progression was just the two of them did it absolutely brilliantly.
It was like that you would like sense the anxiousness in our voice and stuff, and like the nervousness just speaking like to people in the show. And then it just went on and on where she was just like totally herself again. Like you would see that's what she was like before she got downtrodden in the relationship.
It was wonderful to see as well. And like she had some shit in her family, and like say like her mother was fucking horrible. I couldn't. I wanted to punch her mother in the face so bad. I'll never endorse hitting a woman, but Jesus, she needed a slap. But what about you, Sarah? What are your like favorite characters?
Well, I think I've already hinted on one anyway. Deb was one of my favorite characters until like
they did
until
what they
she
did.
wasn't. Yeah.
Until they did what they did.
Yeah. I just like that no nonsense approach to everything. It's like, well, let's go and fucking do it.
It's like that enthusiasm just like never wavered. Like even like I felt sorry for Deb where it was like the showrunners or the person involved went, oh, what bad thing can we have happen to Deb this week?
Yeah.
I know. I felt so sorry for. I mean, and all I mean, basically, what every love interest she ever had in the show just went tits up.
And let's be honest, and even her marriage with like say, I think I read somewhere as well that she fell in love, broke up and divorced, of met, married and divorced, all in the length of this show. So she married Michael C. Hall in real life, divorced him, well, fell out of love and divorced him, but while playing his sister as well, that must have caused some fucking weird things.
It was around the time they did
and then
the
they
whole.
had to get together in the show as well.
Yeah, it was around the time they got together in the show that the divorce came through.
Yeah.
So that is like true fucking professionalism right there with them too. I will never forgive the showrunners and writers for what they did to her.
No.
As a character, because regardless of whatever was thrown at Deb, she still fucking overcame it. It wasn't something that she would allow herself to be knocked down by. For them to fucking end it the way they did with her is just, it's a fucking travesty.
Yeah, I mean, recently I watched the final episode of the original 8 series recently, and my partner was sitting watching it with us, and he went, what the fuck just happened to Deb? You know, why?
Yeah.
But yeah, but for earlier on though, like when you were saying everything that happened to her, although she did get up and carry on, I like the fact that they did actually show it affect her as well still.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she still had a heart. She still had feelings. She wasn't a fucking she wasn't the machine that she wanted to make herself out to be. I got a shock when I saw her in White Chicks. I went, fuck! Who's that?
To be fair, everyone just went, what the fuck, when they saw it's White Chicks anyway, so that's fine. But yes, like I said, but there've been so many amazing characters in it as well, and I know we're going to be jumping all over the place because it's impossible that we'll get through like all of the aspects of Dex, because like I say, there was 9 seasons when you talk about the new one, which we'll have a discussion with as well, because that was quite an interesting take. What did you think of? Well, let's talk with the obvious one. Who was your favorite bad guy?
I think that would lead lovely into us talking about series 4, would it not?
Series
Or
4.
are we all kind of not on the same page?
It's a very popular option for that question.
Definitely.
Series 4.
Series 4.
Now,
in my opinion, this is my top level TV program. This is where I stand with TV. If you can't get me on the same emotional level that whole series got us, then you didn't do your job properly.
Yeah.
I have never been ruined so much by a TV show, by a fucking end of series episode as well, than I did with that one. I remember where I was, what I was doing, and how many cigarettes I had to smoke afterwards to get over it. I remember exactly. I sat and cried my eyes out for days over that episode.
Yeah, that season's like the benchmark of what.
Yeah,
like
that's where it is.
Be.
Yeah.
It's
from start to finish.
It's where there wasn't a misstep. There wasn't a wasted episode. There wasn't a wasted line. There wasn't anything thing, and I never thought John Lithgow had that into him, in him, like that performance. Because
I don't know about you guys, but the only things that I knew John Lithgow from before Dexter, I know him from other stuff obviously now, but before Dexter, I only knew him mainly from Third Rock from the Sun and Don Quixote.
Actor.
Well, Harry and the Hendersons as well.
Harry and the Hendersons.
I'd forgotten about that. Yes, Harry.
He was in the remake of the Twilight Zone. He is the the Shatner episode, the Shatner shot with the there's something on the wing of the plane. It's John Lithgow who does it in the remake version. So
he was the bad guy in the Santa Claus the movie as well.
Yes, he was. He was a dick in that.
He was a dick, but he wasn't going to be like as vicious. But
he wasn't a murderer dick, that's for sure.
To be fair, though, we should review Harry and the Hendersons and get Adam to dress up as. That would be initial.
Tune in for Monsters tomorrow for more Harry and the Henderson news.
But yeah, I oh my god, it just shows the range of the man, really, because. Especially after knowing him for so long from Third Rock, I was just kind of like, holy shit, if I'd seen this first, this guy would terrify me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I appreciated John Lithgow's range at all.
No.
Just the switch. Like 1 minute smiling, like, oh yeah, talking nicely, and it's like
you can see it as well without him doing anything. You can see the switch.
So the character he plays that's not the killer, the dad, the family man, that's Barney Stinson's dad from How I Met Your Mother. Yeah. So when I came around to watching How I Met Your Mother and he comes on as his dad, I'm like, fuck. It's like, where's this going to get dark?
Bye, Barney.
Who's going to be in the bath getting the thighs sliced as well? Yeah.
And what a way to kill people.
Yeah.
I know, it's oh god, it's awful. Like, we're really thinking about it though, like, because you can't do a thing about it, the bathtub ones, and then he's basically threatening somebody's kids for the second murder. I mean, the third one,
the femoral artery that he cuts, isn't it? And it's the one that you cut. Once that's gone, you can't do fuck all about it.
And the kid as well, like the kid was alive when he was inside the bag, inside the concrete.
Yeah. And the bludgeon to death with the hammer.
Alive.
You know what always gets us with the hammer one as well. You know what? Like, and again, I know it sounds like this is the attention to detail. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Is when he's not just bludgeoning with the hammer. It takes a second and he turns the hammer round to the sharp side.
Yeah.
And that's the final blow. And like that just goes. It's one of them things where you see it and you feel it in your teeth.
My stomach just tensed right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My stomach was tense for the entire season.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit like, I don't like this anymore.
No.
Where's all the sunshine and flowers?
but this is the one season where Dexter makes all the mistakes in as well. Like this,
and they are monumental ones.
When he realizes that he's not infallible and he can be outwitted.
Yeah.
That scene when he walks into the where John Lithgow walks into the police station, walks right up to him and says, "Hello, Dexter Morgan."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he can't do anything back to him because he's already framed someone else.
Yeah,
I think the height of him as well.
John Lithgow's a very big man.
I think
too.
he's about 6. I think he's 6'4", and Michael C. Hall's only like 5'8", 5'9".
He's a dot.
Yeah, so like,
well, that's average height. I'll have you know, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. we are the same height. So I'm sorry.
Average height.
But
forgetting that Adam doesn't stand for all men.
But all men stand for Adam, though.
Oh yeah.
But I know, I know what you mean. Like the John Lithgow is a giant of a man. What got me is when he played Winston Churchill for The Crown. I've never seen him so short.
Yeah.
He was proper hunched over. It was just a totally different character for him. Obviously, it's a historical one as well. But I forget that he's a really tall dude. Like he's so tall.
I tell you what,
that just made him all the more menacing. Like that point where he walked up with Dexter in the police station and went, "Hello, Dexter Morgan," and you're like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, you have to physically look your head up to, like,
as well, doing that with him.
Yeah. I think with Dexter in this in the season 4, there was so much conflict. It was the fact that obviously he was infallible. You know, he made a lot of mistakes, and he was so conflicted with the idea of, do I really need to do this anymore? Is my family life enough? Could I go and just be that person? And obviously, by the time he makes his mind up with that one, it's all too fucking late.
But it's the things that comes before that as well, because when he meets Trinity and works out what he's doing, he looks at Arthur and Arthur's family life. It looks like the perfect life. Like he's got the dot and son, he's got the lovely daughter, and he's got the wife that loves him, and he's got with her. Arthur's not a lone wolf. Arthur's not like what Harry kept on telling them, that Dexter had to be alone. He couldn't bring anyone into this thing, and he was like, well, I don't want to lose Rita, I don't want to lose the kids, I want that aspect to it. If I can learn from Arthur, then maybe I can progress and go. Harry wasn't always infallible. Harry made mistakes. Like at this time he was questioning the law of Harry as well. But the mistakes he makes through this season as well, like he kills the wrong person.
You had enough, Sarah.
It was giving us a headache. It's squashing my head there.
Bless you.
You did well.
But he kills the wrong person. So the photographer, he thinks it's the photographer, and he rushes the decision, and it wasn't. It was the photographer's assistant, and he's conflicted by that. And then he's like, he gets the chance to kill Arthur, not once, but I think it was a few times, like when he was had the axe.
Twice at least.
The fact he actually he saves his life as well at one point.
And that's the thing. And the turn when I think Thanksgiving is the most scaring thing as well, when all of them's giving thanks to him, and he turns around and I see no one's giving thanks to me, and all of them start to panic, and as soon as his wife chirps and he's just got, shut up, cunt.
That cuts so much. It's silenced everything else. Even when I was watching it, it silenced us.
And
the C word can tend to do that with some people,
especially in America. Like when it's like I think
it's not a big word for them.
Yeah, but I think when it's like a British comedy or a British film, if you watch something like Lock, Stock, it's like all the time. But you don't really see it that much in, like, even if you watch The Sopranos, the C word is used sparingly. It's used from like when they want to really go down on someone and belittle them. So when he uses it there, it's there for a punch. It's like a full stop on that conversation type thing.
Yeah, it's like an absolute knife stab, isn't it? Like, because they don't use it very often, and they do say it in a really funny way to us as well. Like, probably it's just the accent, but I always find that word. It's one of my mum's favorite words. You know,
I do like that word, to be fair.
I use it regularly in the car.
Yeah, it was used. I've witnessed it be used in a university lecture.
All right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The one that I when I was at university, we had to do a linguistics course,
right,
and language and stuff like that, and it was about swearing and obviously what you could use in the media and stuff like that. And the lecturer just came in, sat down, and said that word.
Yeah.
Silenced the room. Why do people find it offensive?
I think it's just it's one of them things where some people will take ultimate offense, but to be fair, some people get offended and upset when you say moist as well. So
yeah, that's true. I don't get offended by words; they are words. No, but I think it's the emphasis on the T.
Yes.
At the end, that can kind of cut people. But that scene, I totally forgot about that scene up until you mentioned
it. Which word though, Sam? Moist or cunt.
Fucking hell. Well, Sarah's really bringing her A-game tonight. We've had a swear.
Sorry. I've been speaking to Kelly.
Oh dear.
I love
There
it.
you go.
I love it. I'd blame Kelly too.
But yeah, that season as well, because it proves that Dexter's, as I said, infallible. He's going to make mistakes, and the ultimate one as well, because you think when he's
Oh.
got Trinity on his table, you think everything's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
We're
happy
all like,
ending.
fucking, this is it.
Yeah.
Where we're going to go for season 5,
Mm-hmm.
and fuck, do we get the punchline? Like,
Oh God,
it's
that
just when that
moment.
phone rings as well. When
Yeah.
when you
It's
get
when
the
she says, I had to come back.
yeah.
And you're like,
Oh no.
what? Because at the moment, at that time, when you're walking through that house with him, you
Mhm.
are, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're done. He's
Yeah.
going to go and get his bags. He's going to get off, and then we'll have something totally fresh for next season. Like, fuck, this is done. And then that phone goes, and she says, I had to come back for my identification. And you're like,
Oh, yeah.
oh,
Mm.
shit.
And you
And
see
then
you see his face drop as well, though.
yeah, the realization, the scream of Harrison,
Mhm.
and then the bathtub. Oh,
Yeah.
Rita,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I will never ever get over that. I have never been, a TV show has never been able to since
Mm-hmm.
stump me like that.
Yeah.
It was difficult as well because
Fuck the Dexter's writers.
she looked so peaceful as well.
She
Yeah.
looks so happy.
Mm.
And I think that's like kind of purposefully done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That everything was up until that very last moment,
Mm-hmm.
everything was fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate them for it. I hate them for what they did there.
In me rewatch recently, I couldn't even watch the scene. I let it play, but I had to look away.
It lives in my head rent free,
Yeah.
so I'm fine to sit and watch it again because I can still picture every single scene leading up to when he opens that door. And I
Yeah.
think we all had a clue with Harrison,
Yeah.
the whole, because the whole conversation up until then within his head is the whole born in blood.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison's not had that yet. Now he has.
Yeah. And what is like again, because I think everyone focuses on, like, say, the John Lithgow and the end scene quite a lot in this season as well. But it's such a clever season, not just based on like what's happening,
yeah.
like the twists and turns, like the whole Deborah getting shot and Lindy getting killed, like the FBI. That aspect where you thought, oh, it's Trinity that's killed him because he's getting too close.
Aye.
And the twist is because like all these type of shows love a twist, and you find out the reporter that Quinn was banging was Trinity's daughter, and she was trying to like cover for her father, and her father had, like, say, some kind of disdain. I think she was a daughter from a previous marriage, like before. And I did not see that coming. I
No.
did not
No,
for a second.
you've literally just reminded us about it. I think she's in an episode of The Big Bang Theory as well, because every time she comes on, Anthel go, Dexter.
Yep, she's on The Big Bang. She's in Supernatural as well. She gives birth to Jack, the godson. No, so Satan's son as well. But yeah,
Busy girl.
Aye.
but well, American TV shows, like, say, if you're an extra or a side part, you normally get passed around quite a lot, and I do all the
And
circuits as well.
of course, we had Satan in
Yes,
Dexter as well from
yes.
Supernatural.
And how he handled him was well done as well. That was such
Yeah.
a good way of doing it. Well, a good way of doing it, a clever way of doing it type thing. But we didn't want to break the code. But yeah, and her admission to what she'd done to Deborah in her apartment, and then you thought that wasn't going to be the end. You knew something was coming, but you just don't expect it to be as abrupt and as final when she takes out the gun and shoots herself. Like, everything that's done in this season, like, is done with a purpose and to have the maximum impact that it can leave with you, and that's why this season is so good, because everything.
There was a lot of maximum impact moments in this season.
Yeah, it was perfection. My next thought is straight away, and I'm talking instantly, how the fuck does he get over this? He's already, is it the revenge, what he would usually do in his own head would be get revenge. Can't do that.
No.
He's already taken that out himself before the act was even known about. So how the fuck does Dexter Morgan deal with the death of Rita.
It's
I was so intrigued on how they were going to do that.
It's the processing and his, like, because he can't feel the way normal people feel, or he can't emote or show his emotions and stuff. He doesn't know what's, like, why he's feeling the way he does. But that's when season 5 kicks off. The first 2 episodes are done absolutely brilliant, because it's literally just because normally they could have done 6 months later. This is Dexter living in, I think, but it's literally
But they didn't.
from that point, and you're seeing Dexter's reaction because he's in shock. And he's telling everyone that it's his fault because he believes it is his fault, but he's not showing any emotions. He's not crying. He's not getting angry. He's just being logical, which what Dexter would be. And instantly, it just brings the suspicion to him.
Yeah.
But
what I didn't get about that is, do these people not pay attention to him beforehand? Because that is a typical reaction from him, especially the emotion side of things. He didn't really show emotion in anything leading up to that point anyway. In his normal day-to-day life, he wasn't like a characteristic kind of person. He was in all intents and purposes, he was really dull.
Yeah.
The most emotion he was showing was when he got a good sandwich, on that like that's the most emotion he showed.
So why would they get so much? I'd never understood that suspicion side of it. I mean, obviously, it doesn't help with them saying I did this, but who doesn't have them guilt moments when bad things have happened? This is my fault. I've done this. So I never understood that side of it. Maybe it's just me.
No,
it's not. Well, I noticed that as well.
It's I just said because like I said, the people closest to Dexter kind of got that. They kind of covered, like LaGuardia, like the Angel, like everyone kind of backed Dexter and covered for him in that type of scenario. It was only Quinn, because Quinn had known Dexter for that long, and he'd had a few run-ins with Dexter during that time as well. So he said, I'm being a detective. I've got my detective head on. This is suspicious. I think he says it in the meeting. Says, what do we say when we look at like murder cases? 90% of the time when the wife's killed, it's the husband. So why aren't we investigating the husband? And they're going, because it's Dexter. But then this is where the writing with Dexter gets a bit poor in my eyes, because that could have been an interesting season arc, or like a few episodes going through, and they write it out with the FBI going, yeah, you were at Lundy, the Trinity killer's house during the investigation when she died. You couldn't have killed it. We just wanted to know why he was targeting you. And it was kind of like, oh, there, Dexter's been absolved now of the blame. But it would have been an interesting season having Dexter been under that microscope of, did he or didn't he do it? And kind of like the Trinity killer's last little calling card to get his payback on Dexter, saying, you might have got us, but now you're under the suspicion of something I've did. That, to me, would have been a more interesting story, if that makes sense, rather than wrote out within 2 or 3 episodes.
It really was. It was kind of like, and it's under the rug now. I did love it when he came back, though. He was all ready to fuck off and do his thing and be the emo that he was. Because let's face it, he was incredibly emo. But when he walks back and he walks into her funeral, I just fucking bawled. And he does that beautiful eulogy of her. And then I can't remember what happened after that. I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember anything after that episode.
I have to give him his props for season 5, like Michael C. Hall. This was the season he was battling cancer.
Yeah, he had Hodgkin's lymphoma, didn't he?
Yeah. So and again, I know like the joke about it now, but if you watch back season 5, it's the wig season. It's the one where he's wearing like a wig, and it's like, it's ridiculous when you look at it and when you know it's a wig now.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
The thing is, though, I would also like to shout out the fact that when they were portraying Dexter as like late teens, he wore a dodgy as fuck wig then as well in the earlier seasons.
Yes,
I've got to shout out that wig at least, if you're going to shout out that wig.
Yes, no, definitely. Because when they wanted a younger Dexter, they didn't even like try like. when
They
it was
had
like
the kid Dexter.
kid Dexter,
They
yeah.
had the kid actor Dexter.
But when
and
it was
then
like early
for
teens,
anything
late
older,
teens, it was like, okay, we just need Michael C. Hall in a emo wig or like in a emo jacket and stuff like that, and acting all like kiddish and stuff like that. Yeah, basically, that was the flashback scenes did get a bit ridiculous at times.
I can't remember them.
You can't. Oh, Sam, go back and find a picture, man.
I love it.
You'll see exactly what we mean.
I love the fact that John Lithgow won fucking so many awards for this. I know Michael C. Hall throughout his time of Dexter won, but season 4 was the big one. That was the one that won them all. The John Lithgow just walked. He might as well have just walked in and went, "I'll take that, thank you," and walked back out again, because it was a guarantee he was winning it.
Definitely. Can I just give a shout out to the cast that they had on Dexter? Like, not just like from season 1, like all of them. Like some of the people they had on, like I cannot believe, like who's of actors as well. Going from like Tommy Lee Miller as one, Ray Stevenson,
Johnny Lee Miller.
Johnny Lee Miller. Yep, that's what I said. Johnny Lee Miller.
You said Tommy.
Tommy, same difference. It's
It's Tommy Lee. I get it.
Yeah, Johnny Lee Miller. Peter Weller, RoboCop was in it.
Yes.
Julia Stiles.
I remember Julia Stiles in it.
Like the amount of people that was in this show, like you didn't realize, like people who went on to do, like Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad. He was in, like, say, Dexter. Might have been not a big role, but there was people who got it. And like as you said, Mark Palingo went on to do Lucifer in Supernatural.
Jim Beaver was also in an episode.
Yes,
Bobby from Supernatural.
And like
Ray Stevenson was in season 7, I think. Ray Stevenson.
Was he?
Yeah. And
still makes me sad.
I know.
I'd like to shout out Sam Trammell from season 1, who went on to be Sam Merlot in True Blood.
I thought, yes, of course. I thought I recognised that name. I've just literally typed in Google Dexter flashback, and I didn't even need to finish the rest off because it came up with flashback wig, and I know exactly what you're talking about now. I had a little bit of a chuckle to myself there. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot about that.
the wigs weren't good in Dexter, let's be honest though. But I know that I said I can't remember his name because I think it was it season. I can't remember the season, but he was the guy that Dexter thought he was going to be a friend with. He was
Jimmy Smith.
Jimmy Smith, that's the one. He was quite an interesting one where
that
he was like
season 3.
Season 3, wasn't it? Yes. Because there's that many things, and you get the.
That's so hazy, that one, mind, because I can't remember that very well.
Oh, it's where he finds a friend and tells him he's about his dark secret, and like he's like a
DA, isn't
it's like my DA's office and stuff. Yeah.
And he starts taking down bad guys the same as Dexter, but he goes too far.
Oh shit! Yes, isn't it him who plays General Organa?
Yes, he's been in like was it NYPD Blue and stuff like that, or something like that?
Yes, of course. I know exactly who he is. Yes.
But the amount of people that starred in this and like went on and done other things as well, like it was such a brilliant cast. Like everyone, like wasn't wasted motion type thing.
But yet, Michael C. Hall kind of didn't afterwards. Like, can anyone remember anything he did after Dexter?
It's hard to move on from Dexter. Really, it's one of those things where the role will probably follow him where he did. I know.
Well, the thing is, though, he wasn't even looking for something to do after 6 Feet Under either. He almost didn't accept Dexter. Who was up for it? Was it? I think I read somewhere that Jeremy Renner was possibly considered for it.
That would have been a very different tone. That would have
been season 1 and done.
I don't think that would have worked, but at some point he was interested or had auditioned for it or something like that.
Interesting.
Just laughing at Goodwill's putting up. Should we offer our one line of 2p's? The frosted tip version.
I think a lot of people would buy that. I am having total deja vu right now. I have had this conversation. There's a glitch in the Matrix. I've had this conversation. I knew you were going to say something about Goodwill there. That's weird.
Because I know, as I said, during lockdown, we got the new season, like the kind of like rewrote the ending that we got for Dexter, and I know it is one of the more, I'll put it politely, the most controversial endings we got for a TV show.
Do you want to talk about the ending just to give people, because I've not seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, I've not seen it. So you might want to give some context of why leading into the
Go on,
new
Sarah.
one.
I'll let you take this away, Sarah.
Oh man.
The pressure's
I
on.
honestly, I don't know what to say about it really, because while I can see why they made why they did what they did with it, obviously they were trying to just wrap everything up, not expecting anything else to come of Dexter.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like it was rushed.
100%.
Like I can't. It's rushed. I can't think of what to do. Or we'll just say this happened.
Yeah.
You know, let him drive that boat into the hurricane type of thing.
Yeah. It almost felt like the cast didn't want to do it anymore, so they kind of wrote themselves in a corner and went, "How are we going to do it?" And
I don't like how Deb's ended.
Yeah, that was the thing that kind of like a punch in the gut. That a lot of things that Deborah Morgan was such a strong character. She didn't need to go out in a coma without a fight.
She'd been shot before, you know, like in pretty much the same place, but just on the other side of the body.
She died of a heart attack, didn't she?
She died while in surgery.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't officially die that way. She went into a coma while in surgery, stopped breathing and stuff like that, and then Dexter turned off her life support machine.
Yeah.
Such a travesty.
So there was nothing that she could even fight against. You know, being shot, she can fight against that.
Yeah.
But it just kind of like it didn't sit right with me because that wasn't Deb's.
It didn't feel like the way the show was going and how everything had played out, that was the ending. It felt like, because to me, the way I always pictured it from like the first season, even like seasons gone, the true ending standpoint to me was always should have been a face-to-face standoff between Debs and Dexter, where she has to make the choice. That to me, because even though she bent the rules, or she was very straightforward. She knew what was right and wrong. She knew what Dexter was doing was wrong. And when she found out about him as well, and she kind of accepted it a little bit, that to me flew in the face of everything that kind of I knew about them characters. So that's for me why the last season was so hard to take. And I do think, again, I don't know if this has ever come out, that the probably did film the ending and they went, "That's the ending, Dexter's dead, he's been in the hurricane," and done some like kind of test screenings or test viewings and went, "That's terrible." So they kind of tacked on the little snippet at the end, like a little Marvel after credits clip where it's like, "Oh, he's not dead, he's just got a beard and living in the world."
Lumberjack.
Yeah, that to me is like the kind of like get out of jail free card type thing, which to me just felt like bullshit. I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah, I sort of feel a similar way about it. I mean, I'm just glad that they decided against ending it with that, because I think I would have been. I mean, I was one of the people who was complaining about it. You know,
you're one of these on the keyboards going, "You fuck you."
No, not online. Just like I was like, "Oh, I wish they hadn't done that and stuff."
Yeah.
But like it's because it's like my favorite, like one of my favorite TV series ever. You know, so it's like for them to end it that way.
Yeah,
I feel like it was that. If they were going to do it like that, they could have just ended it after season 4.
Yeah, because it was
how good that was.
It was just such. I think Ant's reaction was it was just such a slap in the face for the fact that you have committed so much time to this character for it to end the way that it did. For Deb to be taken out the way that she was just that wasn't in her character. I remember being angry 4 years old because I knew like how great of a character Deb was.
I remember being really, really angry as well, and it just kind of like when I watched it recently, it reignited the anger of I know they were locking down for like the mother of all storms, but for Dexter to just be able to pick his sister up dead off a gurney to like in that hospital and walk off with her.
Yeah.
A body
put her
wrapped in
over
a
her
sheet,
shoulder?
and he just walks away from the hospital like that, and nobody stopped him, and nobody even backed an eyelid.
No.
Well, I mean, they are paying for it, so technically he can do what he wants after, like, she's gone.
Yeah, true, maybe.
Did you not watch Little Miss Sunshine?
Yeah, but she wasn't dead the last time a doctor checked on her.
Yeah.
So she might not be dead.
Well,
No.
no,
He turned off. No, he turned off the machine and carried her straight out. So
yeah,
the doctor would have been expecting Deb to still be alive.
it was kind of like, excuse me,
right,
sir, what do you think you're doing today?
Excuse me, can we just call time of death, please?
Whose body is that you have?
It's like, please fucking get back here. But because I think they realised what they had done earlier on, because Dexter as well, they always needed like a kind of like a love interest or someone to kind of normalize them things. So they tried to replace him. I can't remember the name of the person now because she was so unmemorable. Whether by the most boring serial killer woman person ever as well. So they put Dexter with a serial killer, and they were going to
Hannah.
Hannah. Yes, that's the name. Yeah. It didn't make any sense at all. And she was just so boring. I think that's the best way, because Rita had so much character and so much interest. You could see why Dexter, even though if he had no emotions, why he was fascinated or drawn to her. Where Hannah, it didn't have that type of appeal, and how he just let the kids go off with her as well. It was kind of like,
even Lila was better than her, and she was annoying as fuck.
Yes, she was scary. I was scared of Lila, like the Fire Queen. But yeah,
excuse my tits.
Just watch that episode actually today.
Honestly, this whole episode is bringing a whole different side of Sarah Peach out today, mind. Who are you?
But that was an actual line from the show, though. That's the thing. When she walks in, Deborah's like standing at the fridge with her tits out and goes, "Oh, excuse my tits," and then covers them up like this. It was like, our pet. But and I think with the time, that's a good point to raise as well, because before, like, TV shows, you didn't really get many pairs of breasts or stuff in like TV shows like this. Then Game of Thrones came along and just changed the book for a lot. Tits came out, so it was quite shocking and quite like
there's quite a lot in Dexter, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was at times it was kind of like, oh yeah, is she going to get her boobs out as well? So I think 90% of the cast actually get the tits out at some point as well. So it's not a bad thing for booby watch if anyone's watching. I know a lot of nerds like your boobs, so get watching.
Said by the king of the boobs.
King of the boobs, yes. But
yes, Sarah.
So how would you have ended it other than, like, I know that we'll talk about New Blood in a second, but how would you have ended it?
I'm just going to weigh in just because I don't feel like I have a lot of weight when it comes to, because I don't.
Well, you've got to have an opinion. Like, how would you, like, if you've watched season one, how would you want?
I like what you said.
Right.
I think it should have been Dexter. I think the whole last season should have been Dexter versus Deb, and they're outwitting each other, outdoing each other. They both know that each other know, but they're not going to say it to their faces, and then it's a final fucking showdown, and Deb wins. But it's like, how did that matter? How did the game of chess like get to the point where Deb wins? I love the idea of that.
I wouldn't even be sad if Dexter had won, because the whole show was about an anti-hero.
It was about him, yeah.
And life, the good guy doesn't always win. Like, the bad guy sometimes does win.
Yeah, you're right.
I liked Sammy's version there, though, because it's kind of like at the start, Deb was always going to Dexter and asking for tips as to where she could go with the cases and stuff like that. What's your insight into this case and stuff like that? And then it's kind of been a progression of how she's grown and come out from under Dexter and got our own theories and got our own ways. Yeah, and Paul.
Divorce and everything.
Yep. And then that's how she comes out. She's finally surpassed him in like the theories and working the cases out and stuff like that. And that's how she wins.
Yeah. No, definitely. How about you, Adam?
I think the Deb route would have been the best for everyone. I think it would have worked too well, if that makes sense. I think that's because that's what everyone wanted. Yeah.
They kind of went, oh, we're not going to go with the fans want, or the fan theories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have worked if it was somebody like Angel or Quinn that had come out on top, though. It definitely had to be Deb.
Yeah. It would have been excellent if it went the way, like Sammy said, like with the game of chess all the way through the last season, just like I'm one step ahead of you sort of thing, but then showing the mistakes from both of them.
Yes.
Because it's so emotionally driven. That it would have been like life or death literally situation for them every time they made a mistake.
Just imagine if it was like literally a game of chess.
Yeah.
Each move was like determined by their own either stupidity or genius.
Well, to be fair, the first season was like that because Ice Truck Killer and Dexter were playing that game. It was like one
But now
move,
it's so it's like brother and brother. Now it's brother and sister.
So that would have been the perfect, like, way, like, story wise. That's the way that would have made sense rather than just the complete mess that we got. But thankfully, they must have realised, like, and what we got as well, because I know that this came out in 2021.
What's the difference? Yeah, like when did it end? Dexter end?
Oh,
2016. Anyone got a date? Chuck me a date.
So 2003 it started. It got
2013. My apologies, 2013. So that's a big chunk of change between
8 years, isn't it?
Correcting your mistake, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the thing,
saying that though, I think it came out at the perfect time.
Yes, well, I think it's got to be like
where you think you're going.
They've got to have.
Sorry,
they've got to have people willing to make it as well, because I think at the time, the people who were making Dexter were Dextered out. You could tell when they were doing the
Dextered out. That's going to be my new phrase now. Sorry, guys, I'm all Dextered out.
But that's the thing when it comes to, like, because they used to do the Comic-Con panels as well, because like San Diego Comic-Con, I used to love watching the panels for all the shows, and they used to have a Dexter panel, and the first couple of years they did it, all the cast were there. Then I think towards the end there was Michael C. Hall and the producer, so I think then, like, the love, like, let's be honest, like, people were falling out, like, mistakes were being made, people weren't being happy with certain decisions, so
divorces were happening.
Yeah, so I can understand that aspect where they're saying, okay, it's done now, we don't want to go back to it. And to be honest, after the season we got, it would be a scary thing to go back to, because the fans are already pissed off.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a brave person or a brave decision to say, all right, we're fucked up, let's try and fix it. And the fans are going, well, we're pissed off at you, you're going to have to make it really, really good. So they left that time to where they thought, like, and that's where this story kind of makes sense, because Dexter's then living life in the wilderness, got his new life, keeping the dark passenger under control. Like I say, his son Harrison is off, you don't know where he is, and the way this story things and the people that they get involved in this season as well. Clancy, can I just say, Clancy Brown as the bad guy was fucking phenomenal.
Didn't know that.
He is amazing as the main bad guy. Not as good as Trinity, but as good. Up there.
It's got some similar points to it where he's like nice as pie to the day-to-day.
Clancy Brown has got such a iconic face as well. Like, he does villains so well.
Yeah.
And him and Dexter's face-offs as well was wow. Like, literally, like, because I know when Trinity Trinity was getting one up or Dexter was getting one up, Clancy Brown has pretty much got a one up on Dexter all the way through this until Dexter kind of flips and goes back to his own roots. And this is so subtly done, because a lot of fans, when this first came out, weren't happy with it. They were like, this doesn't feel like Dexter. It hasn't got the Dexter music in. But there was reasons for it. There was reasons for it. Like, this wasn't Dexter. Dexter was under control. So the little music, the little like you say, his little the dark passenger, like his advisor Harry wasn't there. It was replaced by Deborah, which was such a clever stroke. So they brought Deborah back and give Deborah some stronger meaning as well. And when Dexter starts going in full murder mode, that's when the music starts playing again, and you start getting the little tits. So it's so clever and so well done. It's better than a lot of people give it credit for.
Oh, I think I get Ant to sit and watch this, because I think he needs it. Like, he was one of you guys. He was, incredibly pissed off with the ending of the last one. I will give the writers their dues when it comes to going back so many years later to correct a mistake from, because I don't think we'll, like, Game of Thrones fans, you'll all know last season was absolute dog shit. But I don't think we would ever have them come in and be so brave to say, fucking hold our hands up. Yeah, wasn't great. Let's give you something to kind of end it with.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's a brave move.
It took guts to do it, and thankfully it worked out for them on this occasion.
Definitely. And
sounds class from what you're telling us.
But what's good as well, the police officers in this aren't stupid. They are actually intelligent. They work shit out.
I was so thankful for Angela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to see, like, Dexter's not getting outsmarting them. People aren't stupid. They bring in an amazing podcaster who's absolutely hilarious in it, and quite like telling the story. Harrison is done well and quite sinister, and so that's a good thing. And I like it that we get the end of the Dexter story. We get a full stop. There's no coming back.
Not coming back from this one.
Yeah.
There is a chance you can do it some other way, like carrying on the Dark Passenger, but I think that it's definitely an end to the Dexter storyline anyway.
Yeah,
definitely.
But then, like I say, I wouldn't be sad if we got more stories about Harrison, because now Harrison.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. But how do you
don't
feel?
Have to sugarcoat it for us, you know. You can't just like openly say what's going on.
Oh no, I've just pretty much told you that.
I was trying to be like.
No, you don't need to. Okay. I have the worst memory in existence. I won't probably remember half of it.
Well, it's what we were talking about when, like, say, the ending of what we should have got: Deborah versus Dexter. We get Harrison versus Dexter.
Yeah.
And Harrison makes the decision.
Yeah. And I like how Angela handled it.
Yeah.
Who's Angela?
That's his new girlfriend.
All right. His new girlfriend in this season is the head of police in this town. The chief of police.
Is he still a lumberjack?
Yes. Well, he's like a handyman type thing.
He works in the hunting store in town.
That seems incredibly fitting.
Yes.
Yeah. Sells knives, sells guns.
Because he will know what he's talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, this will slice and dice somebody up. Buy this.
But there's certain elements in that's brilliant. Like, as you said, it starts off where this annoying rich kid is fucking everything up, and so Dexter actually loses his shit and kills him. And he's like, all right. And he basically does the Dexter thing and says, right, how am I going to get away with this? And does the most convoluted framing job that you could ever do, that he was never in a million years going to get away with, where if he was in Miami, the police would have totally bought it and totally went through it. But the police actually don't let it go, and they keep investigating it, and there's reasons for it. And then you discover this like spider web of shit that's going on in this town. There's a cameo of Batista where she rings up and says, "Oh, have you ever heard of this person?" Sends a photograph and says, "No, that's Dexter Morgan. He's basically wanted for the like say the as the murder spree down in Miami." And that's when
basically
it all kicks off. But it's so well done. That's just my opinion. What do you think, Adam?
I loved it. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. Because I was thinking, they've only done this. They're going to do it poorly because everyone whinged about it. So it's just going to be like, oh, quick, get it together quickly, and then try and finish off Dexter's story in like a piss poor way. But I did like the fact that he wasn't like himself all the way through.
Yeah,
it's sort of like it was like that battle inside where he kept on having the visions of Deb and stuff in certain parts of the show, and you're like, oh, it's coming, the Dark Passenger's coming, and then you just don't know when it's going to happen, and then finally it just like you get what you wanted from him. It's just and Michael C. Hall in it as well. I know he's done some great performances like through the years on Dexter anyway, but like this was just a totally different side to him, because it was like this sort of placid like I'm going to be a normal guy who lives in like a really like out of the way village somewhere, you know, just like minding your own business.
Is this what happens when you get away with multiple murders?
Yes. Yeah. So
this is set 10 years later, Sammy.
And he got away with multiple murders.
Yeah, he got away with it. So, he hasn't committed any murders in these 10 years as well.
Yeah.
So there's quite the build up.
So it's
still
like
doesn't absorb him though.
Yeah, it's like
no.
He's still a naughty boy.
I'm still a naughty boy.
All I'm doing.
It was just the restraint showed from like the writing team as well, because they could have just went like, oh, he's being up these old tricks again, like the whole time in this 10 years. But no, it was like, oh, he's actually behaved himself, and
he's a reformed character. You
Yeah,
can't see
started
people
normal,
can
yeah.
change.
Reformed.
yeah, reformed.
But as Adam says, when you see him go full Dexter again, like that switch, it's beautiful. Like you're waiting for it because they don't do it straight away.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
They kind of tease you with it. It's like, oh, he's gonna go here, and the amount of mistakes he makes during this as well. It's beautiful.
Very
and
out of practice.
it shows just when he hasn't got a boat and he hasn't got the ocean to hide the bodies, he's fucked.
Aye. He
Yeah,
took Miami for granted, didn't
Yes,
he?
I love it.
But yeah,
So how did he get rid of them in the middle of the wilderness? Was it just a wood chipper, or was he more inventive?
He tried burning it, so there was like ash going across the city. But then he's like, "Oh yes, this person had a titanium like thing on his ankle because he
Pins in the leg.
pins in his leg that he left in the furnace." So
fucking amateur.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he attacks
The thing was,
like a
we
drug
know
dealer
that he
as
was
well.
aware of them as well because he was aware of there was an accident that his first victim was in, and there was a massive scar up his leg, and everybody knew the story of what happened in this accident, so they knew he had reconstructive surgery on his leg. Everybody knew. So Dexter was aware of it and just kind of whoo.
And it's weird as well when you see Harrison come in because you get emotion from Dexter. And he acts on emotion. Like one thing, Harrison gets drugged up, so he goes and attacks the drug dealer, and tries to set the drug dealer up. And it's like, and as you said, the police aren't stupid in this. They go, this doesn't make sense and things, and they start pinning things together and putting things together. And I do have to admit, Dexter does in this season one of the best jailbreak scenes as well. And in the most brutal jailbreak scenes, and it shows you that's when Dexter's desperate how fucking scary he is.
Is he hard as fuck?
Oh, it's
well hard.
It's basically like how he handles a gun and like what he can do and how he can maneuver everything, and just to think he's like saying, "Please don't let us do this," and then the cops say, "Fuck you," and he's like, "Boom, dead." Without even a second thought. It's like Mal from Firefly when he kicks the guy in the engine. Dexter's that remorse was because he's like, I've got a mission. I've got to get out of here. You're in my way. This has got to happen.
Yeah. Fuck. Honestly, you've like, I didn't know what to expect because I remember when we first started this podcast, you were watching it. And it was kind of like brought up, like I didn't do the whole like you've been watching, but it was mentioned stuff that we had been watching, and you would talk about it, but you wouldn't go into great detail. And I think because it was like it was on at the time, so I didn't know what to expect when you were going to talk about it today. And I'm like, kind of, fuck yeah, let's do this.
I think me and Jake watched it at the time because me and Jake were messaging each other. I'm sure it was Jake. Just saying how much we were enjoying the new one because it was like it was almost like meeting a familiar friend again in a different circumstances. That's probably the best way I can describe it. It felt like it's not quite up there with season 4, but it is up there with season 1 and 2.
But nothing will be up there with season 4. That's like the thing, isn't it? Nothing, even like other TV shows, they'll never meet. It'll never hit what that season did. And I'll say that even about the best of what I love, I still can't get what I got out of that season.
No, and I don't think you ever will, though. That's the thing.
No, I don't think I will. I think that is the peak of television right there. Season 4, Dexter.
And again, it's a completely. Oh, what are you doing? Sorry.
Mine have already been in and jumped around. They've gone now.
Just knocking all the pops over. Basically, going back as well, because it's interesting you're saying like peak TV. There's certain things I would always like line it up with. I think season finale, the last ever episode of Blackadder, that always hits a certain tone. Recently, the thing that's come the closest to me. And again, it's completely different. Well, it's a cop show, but it's a completely different genre altogether. The ending of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I think I totally get where you're coming from. I just think it's a different level of emotion. Like it's like the Blackadder. You can't when it comes to hard hitting real life in your fucking face. I didn't think that's where they were going to go moment. You can't beat that with the end of Blackadder.
No.
And I think that's the same with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That got me in so many feels because we are the type of people who, once that episode's finished, we go back and watch episode 1. And it was episode 1 that got me more, because every playback at the last episode all came in back on episode 1, and I fucking bawled my eyes out at that.
Yeah. But one thing I will always be thankful that they give us this season of Dexter. I can now binge Dexter happily knowing I'm happy with the ending.
No, that's a good feeling. That's a good feeling, because do you not think it was a hard one to go back on, knowing that you've got to go through 1 to whatever to get to that last season, and you know how disappointed you're going to be when you get there? Does it feel better knowing that you've got that now?
Kind of, because I love the journey, though. I love the journey. That don't get us wrong. The journey to get there is amazing. But it's anything. It's like when you watch The Sopranos back, it's like leaving that open question and like having that conversation. I love the conversation you can have from that. And Dexter always brought that forward. Now the only thing we can like have a conversation about is like what's next, because potentially they've said they can do more because of how it ends. But it's, as you said, it's just not with Dexter. And it could be.
Does people want more though? Are you all, you got what you wanted? You got the ending that you wanted. Was that enough, or do you want more?
I wouldn't mind.
You know what?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm selfish like that. You know.
Give me more content.
I think I'm happy with where it ended.
Yeah.
I would watch it if they did a new one, but I think I would be happy if they left it where it was.
Yeah,
it kind of completed a circle for me.
And that's a good way of doing it. I thought the Harrison character is interesting enough. You probably could get another season, 2 seasons at the push.
Yeah,
like if you wanted it to, like
mini series or something.
Yeah, or like even a movie. Do a movie.
Well, I think he has the potential to go and do that, and obviously, like Dexter was trying to basically train him in the last couple of episodes. I think, yes, there was that continuation of Born in Blood. I think that Harrison gave his answer in what he did in the last bit of the episode, and in doing so, he's broken the circle.
Yeah.
So I would be happy to leave it where it was.
Oh, you've got me all intrigued now, man.
But the only playing devil's advocate, and again, this would where it would pique my interest. We'll get one more season. Say, just give it 6 episodes. It doesn't have to be a full 12 episode. Harrison with Dexter as his dark passenger.
I think if they did go on, it would have to be that.
Yeah.
There's nobody else that Harrison really saw in that way. Because
he didn't know Harry, did he? He didn't know Deb.
He didn't know Harry. He did know Deb.
Yep.
He remembers Deb a little bit.
He didn't know Rita. He didn't, like I say, he would have been too young for Rita.
Yeah.
Well, no, he says he remembers. He said he remembers sitting in the blood.
Well, you wouldn't forget that no matter what age you were, to be fair, would you?
Trauma's trauma.
Yeah, it's just kind of like he didn't see Deb as like that kind of persona. He saw her as a happy-go-lucky, like.
Oh, it's Annie Deborah fucking Morgan.
Yeah.
Well, he's been through a lot though, Harrison. Like when you hear his story, like literally, it is devastating, and it's understandable where he's at in his life and the choices he makes, but he is very much Dexter's son when you come to it, and but again, with that season, there's no wasted motion, there's no wasted characters, and I think that is to Dexter's positives. The character, like as you said, you have good and bad seasons, but the characters always stay strong. The ones that you do care about and you can.
Yeah.
And I think that's where good writing, even though good storytelling might not work, but good writing of characters or knowing these characters will do Dexter, or Dexter will probably still be watched and talked about in 20, 30 years because of the positives and I think that's what you can say about a show like this. the positives outweigh the negatives.
I get that. I get that. I get the whole character, because character driven shows is my thing. Like you can have the most shit storyline going, but as long as your characters are strong, relatable, fleshed out, like I am on board, and I think that's what Dexter brings.
Yeah.
What I just want to say before we start wrapping up is what a fucking opening.
Yes.
This was
I was hoping this was going to come up.
The opening of all opens. This kind of like opened the door for like how TV shows needed to have their opening done, because did you notice like True Blood kind of like comes in, creeping in around that time, and that has like such a really good opening as well. But Dexter, love it.
Yeah. It's I've heard so many people say it's like the best opening titles to a show.
I would
the
say
music
hands
gets.
down,
I'll say the music gets annoying. Like, say sorry if guys are listening back because I had the music in before.
I can't remember what it goes like, because every time I think of it, I've got the Sherlock music going in my head. Don't ask me why. I don't know.
I get what you mean with that, Paul, because I was rewatching on the original 8 series. I was watching on DVD, and that is the music that plays over the title screen where you choose your episodes. So I did hear it quite a lot.
And it just loops at a weird point as well. So it does. It's not quite like symmetrical, so it's just like it comes back in like weird.
It's like very weird juxtaposition into that again. Love it.
Yeah, I'll just play it again. So if people are like listening back, you can hear
Please
it.
do, because I can like listen. I can go back and listen and like find out what, because every time I'm trying to like, I can see the opening and I can see the it was like grapefruit and everything. He's making like breakfast and that.
Or tiny shoelace, or putting the t-shirt on, like
everything was just a murder.
It's like it's a BDSM fantasy laid out for everyone there.
But what I'm hearing in my head is the Sherlock theme tune over the top of it. So
if you're listening back, it is quite close, so it's not too far. But to be fair though, that would have been an interesting contest: Sherlock versus Dexter. See who would win with that one. Two addicts versus each other.
I know, because Sherlock is a lot more intelligent than the entire Miami police force put together.
Yeah, but Dexter does stabbies.
Dexter stabbies. Oh,
stabby Dexter.
That's the title of this
Sherlock
episode. Dexter does stabbies.
I'm gonna have to clip Adam saying that now. I'll go back and say it.
Dexter does stabbies. Everyone needs to be careful now. Paul knows how to do clips, and will just be careful what you're saying.
We're getting views from that.
That's me out the window for this episode, isn't it?
Yes. To be fair though, I can't use half of yours. Some of the language you've used here. But yes.
So now we know what gets Sarah is Dexter. It's Dexter.
Dexter, yes.
Brilliant.
So
sorry, I've been building up to this episode by listening to Michael C. Hall's band a lot this week as well. I actually quite enjoy their music as well. So because they were used as exit music on one of the newer episodes as well. There was a song called Ketamine used on the outro, and it's by Princess Goes to the Butterfly Museum.
All right.
Which he sings on.
Right. I know. I know my wife likes him. Like, she listens to him quite a lot. She's actually been to see him live as well. So, he does still tour, I believe.
Yes. They've not long released a third album. Like a month or two ago.
I didn't know he was a musician.
We'll send Adam's details, see if we can get him to play with Michael C. Hall. That'll be interesting.
Oh my God, what a collab!
Adam, I'm coming with you if you're gonna do that.
Everyone's coming with Adam. Don't worry, it's fine.
I think that's a lovely position to end it on.
Wow, Sammy!
Everybody coming on Adam.
Oh, bless him.
Let's end it there.
Let's end it there. Yes, before Sarah says something else.
Yes. So thank you guys for coming on. I don't know if you've got any points or anything that you have, because I know, to be fair, we could go through all 8 seasons.
You could flesh this out like completely, couldn't you?
7-hour episodes.
Aye. Maybe in the future we could do like a whole Dexter series of like talk about like one season 2 seasons a episode or something.
Yeah.
Or killers in TV. That could be interesting. Like, say, talk about different
Look at
murders.
him, man. He has to fucking one up us, doesn't he? Like,
We've got to keep it different and keep changing, keep moving forward, keep evolving, shall we say? So yes, Adam will be on your screens as well. So just to get the plugs out the way. So Adam will be doing on Twitch tomorrow night after a certain episode of another podcast where.
I wonder what that could be.
So what are you talking about tomorrow, Adam?
We're just doing a general news roundup of like games and media.
Oh yes,
because I feel like there's a lot to talk about at the moment because we're obviously with all the WWE stuff that's happened as well. So
yes,
we're going to get our thoughts in about that, which is funny because me and Jake are like big wrestling fans anyway. So we've got a lot to say about that. So it'll be worth checking out if you're a fan of that.
I'll be interested.
Just
interesting.
Just the games roundup for what's came out already or what's coming out in the first half of the year as well. So
cool.
Doing that.
So this is the Ramblecast. This is not the Gun podcast. This is the Ramblecast episode because it's hard to keep up with all the things that's going on at the moment.
We've got a few different identities, but yeah, this is a proper Ramblecast episode because we're going to be rambling a lot. Well, forward.
Yous will be out after my episode of Monsters tomorrow, which is Man Behind the Makeup, Rick Baker Part 1, where we go into the 70s and 80s part of his career. I swear, I'm not lying, this was being one of the most interesting episodes we have done to date. I generally say it beats Tom Savini's Man Behind the Makeup. It is so good. But what I was going to point out is that the audio for all podcasts will be out on Tuesday, and yours, Adam, will be out the following Tuesday.
Yes. Just to say about the Rick Baker one as well, because I did, like I say, I know movie magic and stuff like that. As I was putting the episode together yesterday, I've never seen Dan smile so much through an episode. So if you want to see someone beam and look as happy and jolly as possible, tomorrow's episode is one to watch.
She was so fucking happy doing this episode. I think we both were just so excited because our research was like kind of like elevated a bit. We did something quite different to what we normally would do. So it was just, it's so good. Please go and watch it. 7:00 tomorrow on YouTube, and then back on audio, and then on audio on Tuesday.
Well, Sarah, have you got anything to plug?
Yeah, what are you doing? Apart from looking after small children.
I've got nothing on at the minute. I don't even know when my next podcast is.
I know we've got to go through the list and see because I don't think we need to get like see when Adam's coming back on as well. Because like I say, once you come on, you can't get rid of us. That's the joys of the cult. Then we've got the Trekking Boys back on Friday. Yep. At 7:30, Graeme and Goodwill are back from doing the Star Trek The Motion picture that was last week. They've done the double wheel that has given them another original series. I can't remember the episode name. Goodwill, if he's in the chat, he'll be telling you, he'll be screaming it. But I know it was.
Well, his last comment is jizz, so I doubt it's that.
maybe that's what he just got excited with. He was just like, "I'm spent. I'm done. This is me."
Because you mentioned me and come in the same sentence. I think
and then that's what popped up when I looked at the chat. Got you.
Our northern humour, yes, but yes.
Yeah. So Trek on Friday, and then way back on Sunday with, I think, let me say it. It's RoboCop.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say Terminator, and I was like, shit. No. I thought I got it right, but it's RoboCop. I can't wait for this.
We haven't got Terminator planned. Like I said, that's not for a long time. But yes, we have got. I'm going to give him all his names. We've got Daddy Discord, Hobo Lee, the guy who's got the 14-inch slong. The guy who just causes mayhem wherever he goes. The guy that can't even smile when he's having a good time.
That is very true.
Yes, we've got Lee, and we've got the beautiful, the sexy, the wonderful, the charismatic, the godlike Jake joining us as well.
Hobo Cop, he just put.
Hobo Cop, I love it. What did Lee call us? the dynamic four or something. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. I like it when us four get together because I just know the movie's just going to be so great. Can't wait.
You buy that for $1. But yes, there'll be lots of references, lots of comments, and lots of like talking about futuristic worlds where even when you die, you've got to go back to work. So, which is pretty much the story of RoboCop. But yes, we've got a few episodes coming out in the next few weeks. We've got Army of Darkness, we've got Watchmen, we've got, funny enough, we've got another detective show coming up. We've got Sherlock. So all them things are coming up this month. And I know I might be, well, I am going to be guesting on another podcast this Saturday night. Which I think it's going to be recorded, so I don't know where it's going to, but I'll let you know where I'll be talking about the Blair Witch Project. And we do have a special guest lined up coming up in a few weeks on a Saturday. Like I said, still need to, well, it's confirmed, we just need to get the advertising done. We're going to have an American on where we will be doing an episode on Saturday night at 10 o'clock at night, so you might have to stay up late to watch us. So yes, anything else you just want to add? I as well, there will be links in the description once I've finished as well for checking out Adam's music, because Adam does play all the music for the Nerdy Up North. Does our intros, our outros. He does it for Monsters. He does it for Trek. He does it for the love of the money. But yes,
all of the shows I've got the music.
All the shows is all Adam.
He is the music man. He comes from down the way.
Literally.
But yes, so yeah, so same back time, same back channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.